No second chances, no support, and nowhere to go but the finish line. Day and night, non-stop, racing the clock as much as they race themselves. Across 4 continents and countless challenges. The ultimate prize is simply surviving. The journey, the tears, and the triumphs. Welcome to Wild Races. Tasmania's untamed wilderness continues to test our teams, forcing them closer to their limits and breaking point as they race day and night towards insurmountable challenges.
The reasons that so much of Tasmania has been declared as a World Heritage Area is because it's relatively untracked. But it is the steepness of the topography, it's the deep river valleys and the wild rivers that have carved it up. It's the vegetation, which in places can be almost impenetrable. That's what makes it remote. The weather, of course, can change not only from day to day, but can change by the hour. And when you get the howling wet westerlies with low cloud, if you're in the elevated areas, it's very difficult to see where you're going as well.
Australian team Blackheart have already put time on their rivals, though Merrill and Techno Extreme are now working on closing the gap. For some, what lies ahead will turn this into a race for survival. Leg 4 takes teams deep into the beauty and darkness of Guns Plain Cave. The cave system has been around for millions of years, its limestone dating back even further. Its incredible beauty is rivaled only by challenging navigation and the mystery that lurks in its shadows. Spanning over 2 kilometres below the ground, the teams are faced with cold temperatures and freezing waters. The darkness can be challenging. Even with the first section of the leg along paths, it costs many valuable time. From the paths, the teams venture into a very uncharted and wild chasm where frigid waters, confined spaces, and the pressure of finding checkpoints adds to the fatigue.
Oh, it was alright. It was a bit wet and sandy and cold, but it was only short.
I'll take a snake before I take a spider.
I'm glad I'm not weighing 100 pounds more than I do, because I barely made it over there. We should have come across one pretty soon on that wall.
Well, I can't see anyone here, Nathan. Can't find the checkpoint.
Yeah, we found the exit, and there's 2 checkpoints in here we can't find. It just doesn't seem like it could be anywhere.
Was this the big room? We'll just keep going.
It's not adding up at the moment.
And what about, does it go back this way? Sinkhole, huh?
I don't know where they bloody put them.
Is there more checkpoints up there?
That looks too dangerous. I don't think they'd make us go up there.
The exit's that way.
Get stuck in the middle, but I'm glad I finished through it.
We was unsure whether we should go back or, but then we found one, and then we continued, and then we found another, and then we seemed to find the last one.
We were looking for like a big cave, but when we saw the real sinkhole, we thought that was the exit. So that's why we lost some time.
For Leg 5, we follow teams on a very challenging mountain bike journey that will lead to the formidable Leven Canyon. It is here that the race begins to hurt both the mind and the body.
Liza's not feeling so hot right now. She's lost a lot of fluids, so we're gonna kick it down a notch and make sure that she gets hydrated and can hold some water and eat some food.
Oh, I just felt like I needed to barf, and I did. So first time was not much, and then the second time I was trying to drink water, so all the water came back out.
She's hurting but hanging in there with the best of them.
I don't usually get sick when I'm racing, so I have no idea.
30K the next TA, then we're gonna get loose on the trek.
Legs are feeling it a bit. Hopefully they'll come right a bit just now once we get to the top.
He's not lying about the big hill.
Oh, he's just coming up the hill here and switched down to his last gear and then his chain popped.
We had bigger problems than this at breakfast.
So we should have him going in no time.
And if the hills are not enough to dampen the soul onto the rough stuff, it's just the beginning. The teams are now faced with more than a marathon in one of the harshest wilderness regions on Earth. With no support, competitors need to reach the safety of the river before nightfall or face a very tough journey through the canyon.
So we take slowly these starts because we don't know the country. We discover everything here and it's very wide, very hard but beautiful. A real adventure race.
Well, we are past 24 hours into the race and we've just done, well, just a trek leg of 60 k's, which we're busy doing. So I think we're on about 13 hours for that.
Interesting night, very cold and quite tough navigationally and very hard underfoot. Basically, you're just walking in water the whole time.
I was having a bit of a moment early on. I found as soon as I start down or start walking, I have a visit from the dreaded sleep monster. So for me to be out here setting the pace seems to keep me awake and keep me focused. We were expecting it to be cold, but not this cold. As soon as you stop, body temperature drops, start shaking, no good.
That stuff as we were walking across, it was pretty awful for trekking.
With little or no trails, even experienced teams struggle in what some claim to be an impenetrable environment.
This one?
Yeah, so that's coming in there.
Okay, so we go straight.
It's like we sort of lost the path. We're looking for the pink ribbons in the tree. The path splits, but there are no pink ribbons on either side.
Tree, just go back to where we came from. Yeah. We lost the path and we go back and find it. You can sometimes end up on a track going in the wrong direction for an hour sometimes before you realize what's going on.
As you can see, the path's pretty vague.
That's what we're looking for.
I'd hate to take my team down the wrong hill and then get to the bottom and tell them we went down the wrong one, so rather check before we go down.
If you don't know where you're on the map, you don't know where you are. You can't just pick up the map and say, I think I'm here. It doesn't work that way.
Hey Jared, I think we're heading away from the river a little too much.
Remember when we stopped?
Yeah.
There was a fork.
This is the Vale River.
This is not the Vale River. I reckon this is Furry River.
Don't you think that where we've been has been more flat than this? This river doesn't split. These run into the river.
into the river this way and that way. Okay.
Okay, so I made a big nav mistake, like something that a navigator should never do. And no one said anything. The guys, like, of course, they can't be mad at me because they can't navigate, but personally, it's like the worst, like, disheartening feeling because I know better and it was totally my mistake and it cost us like an hour and a half and like mentally it's really hard to recover from that.
We just finished at checkpoint 17 because we find the nav, so we decided to give ourselves a 6-hour penalty by sleeping. I've never been that cold in my life before. Okay, let's say we are here. Oh, it's going to be a long, long walk.
Treacherous, relentless, unforgiving.
Yeah, we're pretty quiet right now. That uphill got our heart going, and yeah, I think when we're taking strain, we tend to just be completely quiet and not a whole lot to say. But we'll pick up our spirit on the way down. We're running a little bit low on food, but I just checked his pockets and we've probably got a couple biscuits and one protein shake left, and I'm not really sure how much longer we're out here for. We're hoping to push through to mid-camp for our first sleep, but to get through tonight without sleep, as well as last night, that's going to be really tough for us. We might have to have one of those 20-minute power naps on the side of the road.
Sometimes you don't even get 20 minutes, sometimes it's just 12.
Ahead, the freezing waters of the Vale River. With no sleep now for 36 hours, the race begins.
Get down that bloody thing as quickly as possible because it looks chilly. I think we're going to freeze our butts off in here.
Pretty exciting, the water's really flowing.
Keep moving until we see that we're going to be sort of dryish, and then get some dry kit on.
There's sections of the rapids that there's probably that much volume that if your foot gets stuck, you could get pinned.
I think all the team just want to go home now, but it's 4 days left, so we just have to try to think positive and do the best of what we got.
I'm gonna die. You know that I'm gonna get back to swimming, right? This is not okay.
The sheer canyon walls mean no escape from the rising water. For the teams, it's becoming as much about survival as a race.
It's super cold in the water. You okay?
Yeah. Just imagine doing this stage at night. For everyone that have plans to go in the canyon, don't do it like me. Have at least a helmet and a PFD. I wish I would have one today. I was so close a couple of times, just falling into the river and just floating away.
Just staying within 50 meters of the river. Yeah, bushwhacking instead, and it's probably quicker too because it's quite open bush.
Oh, it's horrible. That is not my forte in life. I don't like to be cold, and that water was frigid. I actually think it might be colder than Loch Ness, which I've had to swim in.
We don't know actually now how far we have gone, because there's only green everywhere, because it's impossible to know. We're gonna go like 1k or 5. They're so thick.
For those still in the canyon, temperatures are dropping.
Here goes. Damn, it's cold. My body is freezing. Oh no.
can't feel my hands.
We're all freezing, so right now all we're going to do is keep on moving to keep ourselves warm.
The thing about canyoning is that you're gonna move fast, not you get cold. After the effort of coming downhill, this feels too much of a shock to the system. Luckily I'm warm now.
With nightfall closing in, their epic struggle for warmth becomes extreme, and the wilderness is giving no favours.
That gorge is, it's shocking. It's really bad. Cold. Dangerous. You don't have a helmet. You don't have a life jacket. You don't have a wetsuit. And you can't get out. There's no safety in there. Scary.
It's 4:41. Saturday morning, I think it is. Saturday, is it? Yeah. We just finished the Vale River trek. And we hit this really tricky checkpoint, which is we start with 4% kayaks. I guess if tonight was a night, or if today was a day to HDFU, this is it. We're gonna get going somehow. But we're gonna get a bit of rest first. Boys are happy to sit down by the fire for a while. But in the meantime, we're also packing our gear and keeping ourselves motivated. Should be seeing the sunrise soon, so that'll give us an extra boost of energy.
Surviving the night was one thing, now the teams face a paddle in frigid waters on Lake Macintosh, and still hours from warmth. With dawn, the tortured vista of the lake brings no respite. It's a daunting sight. This is adventure at its limits.
Four people in one of these boats can be very, very interesting. It's not so bad when you paddle, but the minute you stop paddling, your whole core temperature, everything just goes, just plummets. Especially because we've been so active for so long, we just don't have the reserves that one would normally have. So literally the minute we launched, all of us just got the uncontrollable shakes.
After hardly any sleep over the last 2 days, freezing waters and already mild hypothermia, teams are focused on dry land.
It makes the top 10 of the dumbest things I've done in an adventure race.
I was not feeling all that fantastic.
It was cold and wet.
Some are now finding the going tough, little help from the weather and failing light. The mind begins to question the body.
Freezing!
Absolutely freezing. I see it. Good. Just need to warm up a bit now. Yeah,
Not even halfway yet.
I can't even move. I can't do anything.
Take a deep breath. Very over here. And let your for them.
Well, it's better paddling at night than doing the gorge at night, so yeah, we were glad we did it in a day.
So everybody's in the same situation, so everybody's cold. I feel sorry for the guys who are clothing at night time. That's going to be really cold for them. Because it's also quite hard to see.
Rest and warmth are only short-lived. This is wild races and the journey continues. For the leaders, they press on into the night and the struggle for those behind continues. All our teams are still pushing hard, with the course already taking its toll. Team Blackheart extend their lead over their rivals, with newcomers Sart from Singapore experiencing true adventure racing. Though there's a long way to go, and what lies around the corner is staggering. Next time.